I'm not getting up to turn on no lights. Um, Let me see. You can kind of see a little. Can you see the shadows? Anyways, I just sometimes it's really hard to understand people, I guess. Um, and for the most part, I get along a lot better with guys that I didn't deal with or that I don't deal with. Um, but the only one I think that I'm able to still be friends and there's no like weird um, motives or this and that is my Libra exes. We have no issues. But everybody else is like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like the older I get, the more it seems like there's, I don't know, like I see through the selfishness, I see through the what I was blocking maybe before. Um, and I was given a lot of grace and a lot of forgiveness and turning the other cheek and this and that and all that crap that the Bible says to do, which I don't agree with some of it nowadays. Because in doing that, I let a lot of people slide with whatever they were doing and how they were talking to me and how they were treating me like I was less than. Like, I'll give you one example that just happened a few days ago. So it's a person that, I was really close to and this and that. And situation with another mutual friend. And I was just like, God's been putting that person in my mind. I just want to know that they're okay. Wondering if I can chat or whatever. Because once somebody tries to act like they don't want to be bothered, I don't need to keep your phone number. I don't need. If we ever talk again, it's because you text me or you call me. I just had somebody say, "Oh, this is somebody else. Oh, you reach out of nowhere." No, that won't be me. Because once I delete or block or whatever, I may unblock just so I don't have, in case the phone ID has a picture, like WhatsApp, they always keep, if you don't have somebody blocked, you can always see their little bubble or whatever when you're trying to look for the person you're sending a WhatsApp to. If their number is still saved or whatever, or even if you delete it, you can still see the call logs and this and that. So if it's been more than 4 or 5 months and we haven't talked and you hit me up, it's because you still have my number. It won't be because the other way around. But anyways, getting back to this person, and I was like, I obviously don't have that person's number or whatever. And this person gonna say, "Oh, let me check in with them and see how they feel." I'm like, "What? Hold up. No." Like, that comment would have probably gone over because I put up with a lot. If somebody is good to my kids or whatever, I'll bite my tongue. I'll hush my mouth. I'll put up with a lot if my kids are getting some kind of benefit from it, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, whatever. And this person was very meaningful to my kids and even me. I mean, you know. So that probably would have been something that I would have been like, okay, I gotta go. I got something to do, or I would have made up something. I'm like, oh hell no! Wait a minute, you gotta check in with so and so because you think I'm just some kind of animal that doesn't know. Like, I know that this other person is going through a lot of hardships, but God keeps putting this person in my mind, and I'm like, okay, obviously it must mean something if God keeps putting this person in my mind because I know how to block and move on. Like, I've been done that way and had to do that a lot. So the fact, if I make an effort to be in your life or to put myself back into your life or ask you for forgiveness, that's because I care, and God is telling me to do that. Like, I'm not gonna do that just because we were or are family or this and that. Now, if it gets to the point, like there has been a couple of situations that now this year I realized, okay, I don't put in 20, 30 years into this and it gone nowhere. So I know it's a dead situation. And even if they hit me up, I'm just gonna not like respond or whatever because it's just a dead situation. There's nowhere to go. Like, there's no forgiveness to be had. There's no hard feelings on my end. I'm not gonna ever wish anybody bad or anything like that. But there's just no reason for a friendship, relationship, whatever it is. Um, but yeah, I just felt like I, what? How dare you act like I won't be sensitive to what the person is going through? Like, you see me like, and I knew this person always saw people of color less than, even though the person talks about it a lot. And it's like they're almost trying to prove that they're not, but they are because that's what they were raised in. And yeah, you can marry outside your culture. You can listen to all the music you can listen to. You can say you're not. But the way you treat or the way you talk about a certain culture or a certain people tells how you really feel. Like, if you feel like you have to over explain yourself on why you're not, then you are. Like, I don't feel like I have to over explain myself on, oh, this and that. And not just because I have kids that are, their fathers are black or whatever. I don't have nothing against any culture or any religion or whatever. It's just my preference. It's my preference. But that doesn't mean that I didn't date others or try others, and it just happened that, you know, um, black families or families of colors are less judgmental when it comes to like what type of education and this and that. Like, a degree doesn't mean that a person is good in their eyes. Some family sees that as like that's what defines them. You need a certain amount of schooling, a certain amount of degrees, a certain amount of prestige, a certain amount of like where your family at. Now your daddy could be beating your mom up the yin yang, but hey, they've been together for 20 years, so that's a good family. So yeah, block them all. Yeah, I mean that's the way it's getting. That's the way it's becoming. And I had another situation just happening. Um, Maybe you guys don't mind seeing the natural me. So maybe I will turn on the light a little bit and talk a little longer. So I just wanted to get that off my chest because somebody just came at me sideways talking about all the things da 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 da. It's like It's that simple. If somebody asks you for forgiveness, you really have two choices. You could either accept it and move on, or you don't and you move on. Either way, you move on. You don't harp on it, this and that. So I told myself, I said, okay, um, this person got one more time to tell me something I did wrong, like they didn't do nothing wrong. And this is a person I'm trying to just be friends with, cool, whatever. So it's not even nothing sexual. Let me see what I got on. I guess you guys are used to seeing me in my natural. Anyway, so yeah, it's becoming very disappointing. And it's so sad because, like, 2020 was hard in a certain way, but what it did for some people was bring them closer. Like, I actually talked to family members, cousins, and stuff because of it. Um, and I think kind of because of that and because of I was really, really sick in 2019, went into the hospice and everything. And because of that, I got kind of reconnected to some of my aunts. Ended up building with a couple of them. I still talk to this day from my dad's side. I have one aunt that I talk to constantly from my mom's side in Spain. And I'm so grateful for her. She actually, like, some things take work, and I understand that. I'm willing, like, I'm the type of person that I'll put in 10 years just to build a relationship with a friend or a family member or this and that. But eventually, we all grow up, and it's like you're waiting for that person, not for a return, but just like appreciation or some kind of give and take. And just Chastity said, "What?" Hey, from Bryson, Jay Nelson. Let me see who else. Okay. Um, but yeah, it's just weird to me that people will sit and da 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 and send you these long drawn out texts. Unless we were dating, we don't need 10 voicemails for you to tell me what you didn't like about or what I did or this and that. Like, huh? Huh? Okay. I guess C. Santana is here to talk. He said, or is it a she or a he? Let me see if I can see. Can I click on the name? The bubble? I don't know. Um, okay, so he said, if me and you were stuck in an Amazon rainforest and a snake bit my tip. Mm, all right, all right. Do I need to block you, Santana? You can't say stuff like that. I thought it was a funny one. And I didn't read the whole thing. Um, but anyways, yeah, what do you guys do? Um, like once you get older, have you noticed that it's harder and harder to understand people or get along with people? Um, I know it's different um, for different people, and like I don't do. If I did more, I'm guessing it would be all right. Like I've been on this new venture of dating myself. And, the first thing that I did was the karaoke by myself. No kids, no boyfriend, no dates, no nothing. And I had a blast. I forgot. It almost felt like that feeling that I used to feel in high school when I used to go to the school dances by myself. I didn't care. Supposedly, there was a lot of people that wanted to ask me out, but they were scared because of my uh, boyfriend at the time. I think we were broken up by the time I was a junior, but people were still scared of him. So nobody ever asked me out, but that didn't stop me. I went and had a great time with my girls. We were all get in a little circle and dance our butts off. Um, and that's what the karaoke felt like. It just felt like I was out there, just being my flirty, funny, fun self. And, after having kids and being married and being in these long, drawn out relationships that I really should have cut it off. Most of them, I don't know about, obviously, the two dads, obviously I thought that that was going to be marriage and this and that, but other than that, all the other relationships, I really should have cut it off after a year. Because if a man doesn't know, even when you're young, if you have to push or ask a guy more than once if he really wants to marry you, and you're either living with him or you're inviting him over all the time, you're cooking, cleaning, this and that, doing all the wifey stuff, and you don't have the benefits of being the wife, then what's the point? Like, I'm really gonna start dating like at the girlfriend level because I always date like at the wife level. I always like, oh, are you okay? I'm very caring, very um, thoughtful, and I try to, if my man don't have, then I come through, and it's like, why do I do that? It's such a waste of money. It's such a waste of time. Like, oh my God. But live and learn, right? But yeah, just if you forgive somebody, just forgive them and let it go. If you don't, then don't. Then just move on. Like either way. Yeah, so I'm just not gonna respond anymore. Um, and but yeah, if this friend wants to forgive me, then they can forgive me. If not, I mean, I'm still gonna be dealing with what I'm dealing with. I'm still gonna be me. I'm still gonna be dating myself. I'm still gonna be like, nothing stops just because a person wants to act like they want to be mad at you for no reason, really. So, um, you know, nobody's perfect. I'm not saying that I'm didn't do nothing because I know a few of my exes would say a few things, but anyways, I just wanted to get that off my chest. It's just like, I don't know. And then I think about like, what if I would have seen through like the first, my oldest son's dad? Like, what if we would have stuck it through? Now, I believe he would have cheated on me a few times. If I stayed, maybe by now he would have calmed down. But I just think about all the stuff that the grandmas back in the days used to put up with, or the grandfathers, because some women were holding to having kids too outside the marriage and pinning it, saying it's your child. And oh. My allergies. Oh my God. And saying like, oh yeah, it's your child. And back then, DNA testing wasn't a big thing. Like a guy really trusted the women. If they said it was theirs, they were theirs. And now you see all these judges shows they're doing DNA on 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds. That's really sad. Like, I'm glad that, you know, for that purpose, I'm glad that DNA for kids, it's available now. It's easier to get and to do and stuff. It's not as tough as it was before. But yeah, that's tough. But anyways, I just wanted to quickly say, unless somebody else says something else, I gotta go. Jay Nelson said, block them all. Now we stream. Okay, is this if you don't have a picture on your name, it's hard to take you serious. I don't know if this is a real person or not. Um, hey, hey, Bryson Roberts. I hope you're not Amy. Is it from 90 Day Fiance? Bryson. That's Robert's sons. I don't know what their last name is. That would be weird because he's a little kid, little baby. You shouldn't be up. And then plus they're on the East Coast. I think they live in Florida, so it's definitely past that little boy's bedtime. But anyways, that's it. That's all. I ended up listening. And I usually don't do this. Like, if I know somebody's gonna be hateful or mad or whatever, I don't listen to voice text. I don't read long, drawn out. First of all, my dyslexia won't let me read all that. Um, if it's nothing funny, but I actually listen to the voice text that this person that's so mad at me sent. I wanted to see if he kind of apologized for his part too. Um, but yeah, it was hurtful. It was really hurtful, and I was actually feeling pretty good that morning, and he came in early because I guess that's when he has time, a break from his job and stuff. But yeah, I sat there and listened, and then after I listened to the whole message, I was like, what did I do that for? Why did I do that to myself? Because I know me, I'll just block and be done. And then I thought today maybe you'll apologize for saying some of that messed up stuff he said on the voice text. No, he just doubled down. So I'm like, okay, that's one thing I'm not gonna do. I don't like. I always tell people I'd rather be by myself alone. And I even told the kids at one point, I'm like, I wish if I really had one wish that I could really make happen, like with security guards and all that bullshit, Like, I really wouldn't let anybody come to my funeral. The only ones that would be there would be Tia Damari, Tia Morena, Tia Rosario, and the uncles, except for Tio Ramon. He's not invited. Um, and then, of course, my dad is not invited. My stepmom, my two nieces, my brother and sister in Spain, and then my kids, of course. And that's it, because I'm people care to a certain extent. Like, I don't need nobody crying and falling over and putting on a show that didn't show up for me while I was here. Like, I really don't. And okay, so of course I gotta include my son's dad. And of course, if my ex-husband was alive, he would be there too. Um, these are people that actually been there for me for the long haul, not just, oh, I love you unconditional, and then we have a disagreement, and then it's like, I'll forget you, or they talk to you like you're less than, and they think you don't notice because you don't speak on it right away, or, you know, um, so a lot of that's gone on. And I would invite a few people from different programs that I've been in, like my caseworker from Hopeling. She was hella cool. She was just basically almost all my caseworkers that I ever had. They're always been like so supportive, so minus Harrington House. Them bitches can stay over there. Them bitches try to take my baby and make me feel like I was a bad mom for making a choice to keep my son first. And then because I kept my son and didn't want to give him up for adoption, then they're like, oh, you don't know, you're going to create disadvantages for him and blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, they can. But yeah, if I could make a list, I would definitely make a list. And I bet you it would be less than 50 people on that list. But people are going to do what they're going to do. And I know my kids won't, that they're not going to be in control of anything. But my hope is that my little one would be bold enough to call people out that he knows that did me wrong and show up to cry and make a show or act like they're gonna miss me when they barely see me throughout the year, if they see me at all. Um, so yeah, that's what I would feel about. That's what I wish I could make happen. Like somehow be at my own funeral, pinching people and punching people and stepping on people's feet. Like if I could make that happen, I would. I don't know how spirits come back and actually do things, because I believe in that. I don't know if you guys believe in that, but I believe in that. I believe my mom come visit me a lot. I'm not sure about my grandma. I don't think I haven't felt her. I haven't seen her, so I don't know. But I definitely know my grandfather visited me from my dad's side a couple of times. Um, my ex-husband visits me a lot too. He visits me a lot. Um, so between my mom and my ex-husband, they keep me busy. Sometimes guessing who's in the room, depending on what I'm feeling, and what hairs are standing up in my arms or my back, or trying to figure out who is it. Um, but yeah, and like my mom, when she first started visiting me, she used to make the broom fall down everywhere I put it. No matter how secure it was always knocked down by the morning time. Or she used to stop one of my alarm clocks in the living room. She just always stop at like 2:30. So eventually, when I talked to my aunt in in Spain, she was like, maybe she was telling you that that's the time that she took her last breath. And she might have looked at the time. Because my mom, she's a planner. That's probably where I get it from. She was definitely a planner. So I wouldn't be surprised if she had an alarm clock or a watch or something in her eyesight when she knew she was doing what she was doing, and she was able to see the last time that she could see the time. The other thing that I think it was both, it was the pregnancy and her, because that was the reason that, because before she started stopping the time, she would wake me up at 2:30. Is it 2:30 or 3:30? I think it was 2:30. 2:30 every time I come out the room, look at my alarm clock in the corner. It's like, oh my God, I have to go to the bathroom, pee, pee, pee. And then when I didn't get it, I guess she got frustrated. And she's like, okay, I just gotta stop this. So it would be blinking 2:30 every time. And by then, the baby was bigger. It was my little one, Dakari. So the bladder was out of control. It could be 1:30. It could be, but the alarm clock would always, anytime I got up, it would always be flashing 2:30. So I know that they can do stuff. So I was like, oh man, that would be cool if I can come back and slap a few at my funeral. I don't know. Because I know it feels like they're rubbing or something. So if you could touch or make people feel stuff, I wonder if you could really hit or like pinch or step on or pull hair. I would have people like the cartoon. I would have so much fun. I swear I would. But I know some people might take it and be like, oh my God, that's evil. Oh my God, why are you even thinking about that? Oh my God. It's everyday life. Um, I think of death a little more because of my situation. I'm very open on this platform. If you don't know, I have AIDS. I've had HIV since '98, but I found out in '99. I knew I was with the person in '98, and it took me a year to get tested. I didn't know. Um, so yeah, I dealt with a lot, and I can feel like, okay, it might be close. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm not fighting, that I'm not, oh, don't think that way. You think it's gonna be, no, no, no. It's definitely slow, like the wheels are slowing down on my clock, but I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight to the end. And right now, the main goal that I'm heading to, that's why I can't afford no voice text, no this, whatever. Da, da. I'm just like, I'm so through. I don't have no patience for disrespect. I have no patience anymore for, um, you treating me less than, or When I need you, it's what is this about type of text back? No. Mm-mm. If I'm there for you, you, it's a return thing now. I don't care. Like you have to. If it's a give and take, if it's not a give and take, then I don't need it. I don't care who you are, my mama, my daddy, my sister, my uncle. I don't care. I don't have to deal with it at all. And like I said, I'm okay with being alone. Um, and I really, like, I think about it sometimes. Oh, you get that feeling like you're lonely, this and that. No, you're not. You're just bored. Like, if you fill your life up with activities and fun and getting to know yourself and healing yourself and all that stuff, you really aren't lonely. You really aren't. At least I'm not. Like I'm finding out like dang, I forgot to let myself grow. Like I stopped myself from being me. So that's a new adventure I'm going on. It's like who am I? And let my weirdness out. Like forget it. If somebody don't like what comes out of my mouth or they think it's weird, oh well, I've always been judged that way anyways, ever since little. So like what's gonna be different? The fact that I can feel free in being myself, that's the only difference. And some people don't like it because I'm being honest, for the first time in my life, I'm being completely 100% honest with whoever. And honesty hurts feelings sometimes. It hurts feelings and it hurts, like, so, um, and people might say, well, that's mean. It's not nice to say certain things. Well, that has led me to be where I am today. Like, I was surrounded with so many fake people. I had to put on, and I didn't even realize I was putting on all these different masks and carrying all this heaviness in my back, trying to be proper enough for this people, trying to be good enough to be in this circle, trying to be Christian enough to be that. To da, 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 da. It's like, oh my God, if I want to say F, I'm gonna say F on my accounts, on my social media. If the church people don't like it, they can leave my page. If I wanna put on a gospel song on my page, I'm gonna put a gospel song. If the people that can't stand church people don't like it or don't believe in God and this and that, don't like it, they can leave. Like I'm not gonna be one dimensional anymore. I'm not gonna be just like, or maybe multiple dimensional, because I was putting on so many masks. And like, there's a difference between you trying to be fake and wear all these masks. And for me, it felt like I had to, like, I learned to almost customize Johanna to be around certain people. And the only time I really, really felt free was when I was dating my oldest um, son's dad. I was so free. Um, hey, Pilar, or what? Sorry, that was my brother. Okay, I'm not sure what. Okay, well, at least you have a picture. Anyways, so Yeah, it wasn't me being fake like people might say, well, that means you were being fake. You were, no, I got thrown into the foster care system. I had to, ever since I was little, ever since I can remember, I felt like people were telling me to be this. Don't be to that. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. So looking back at my life and being able to get on here and tell my story and little by little dissect on what was going on and realizing like, wow, I never really had a chance to develop myself. I never had a chance to be myself because everywhere I went, I was being told that I wasn't supposed to be this or that I was too much of this or that. I think the other time I felt really comfortable was when I first came to Seattle and when I went into high school. I felt like people accepted me, especially the first boyfriend that I had here in Seattle. That is, him and his mom and dad were so cool. Like, I remember meeting them. I was so nervous because, I was the first time me meeting parents and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. And the dad reminded me of Mr. Hightower, my last foster dad that I had. He had the same kind of attitude, just like loud and funny and, you know, and black. Just big and, you know, like the same kind of hair, a little belly, it's just like, wow, Mr. Hightower point two. And then the mom was so cool. She taught me how to do different art stuff like crochet. I think she taught me how to knit needle point, needle. I don't know, but it's when you like do kind of sewing by color, but you have this plastic thing that you're sewing. I forgot what that's called. And I instantly felt at home. I wanted to hang out over there so much more. I, oh my God, if I could, I would just be over there all day, every day. But we had school, we had different things that we were doing. And then, of course, my foster parents were strict on, oh, you got a curfew. And I think my curfew was like 7 o'clock. It wasn't even, it's crazy. So, yeah, but he made sure anyway, so those two times I felt really comfortable. I felt really comfortable with my ex-husband. Um, and there was a few other times that I felt comfortable. I felt like I could be myself. But I was a little, because I didn't know what the other person's motives were, so I just never let my guard all the way down. Like, and I even told my ex before we stopped speaking, I was like, yeah, I just realized like everybody that I dated got a different Joanna. Like nobody got the same Joanna. And I know they say you're different with everybody, but I really was. I mean, it was almost like a whole, not a whole different person, but just sometimes a lot, way different, sometimes just a little different, but because not only because of like how comfortable I was with the person or this or that, but just because they're different too, and what they give, it was a kind of like a vibe. If they felt comfortable with me, I felt comfortable with them. Give them a little bit at a time. And health wise, and age obviously plays a big difference. When you're younger, you think younger, you act younger. So yeah, there's a big difference. I don't know if you guys are having your own conversation, But Sam's Club says, I like gloves. What gloves do you have at home? You have a glove fetish or something? Okay. I have gloves uh, from the dollar store. That's the ones I have. Anyways, I'm about to get off here. It's getting weird. But yeah, just remember to be you and don't let anybody make you feel like you're less than or like you don't like somebody said the other day, oh, that's why it's hard to love you or or it's hard for people to love on. I forgot how they said it, but something about not being loved and I'm like what? What? That's the farthest from the truth. If anything, people would say that about me, that, you know, I'm the heartless one in some situations. I've never had problem finding love or getting loved or this and that. I mean, the random people that come into my life sometimes are fake. But like when I moved to Florida and I was connected with the Pembroke Baptist Church, there was so many people that were caring and loving towards us and this and that. So I don't know what they meant by that. If they meant like, oh, that's why you're single. Like, I'm divorced by choice. Not married by choice. Doesn't mean I wasn't. I was proposed more than once. Believe me. So yeah, just because I don't take everything that comes my way doesn't mean that I don't have options or that I didn't have love or that I didn't have options then. So that's just weird when people say that. Anyways, or people feel like, oh, they broke up with me, they're not going to do better than me. Now, I used to think that that was something that people say, like, oh, you're not going to find nobody else like me. There are two people that I'm like, well, damn, that is true for them. I'm never gonna find another them at all. And I miss that like crazy. I wish things were different, would have worked out different with those two. But other than that, everybody else, I'm like, if I don't meet somebody like you already, I probably already met them. Like, my ex was very similar in how hyper they were, happy they were, even built wise, to a guy that I talked to in Maryland. And I didn't notice that until after I broke up with them. I was like, damn, they could be cousins. Like them could be brothers. Like how much they were alike. And so yeah, what I'm realizing is that there. This is gonna sound weird and alien like, but there's copies of us moving about. Like I've heard people say, "Oh yeah, you look or you act or you t- just like my ex or whatever." I had one situation. I think the person fell in love with me because they were still in love with their ex, and because I looked or at whatever like their ex, they fell in love with me fast. And of course, I didn't say that to the person, but I was like, "You're already in love," and whatever, whatever. And then when they kept saying like how much I was like their ex and this and that, I was like, okay, so this is that type of situation. You just fell in deep because um, you can close your eyes and pretend like you're with your ex. Uh, Not that I did that with the ex with the DC. Because the DC, no, that wasn't a good situation at all. It's funny how many people think that they're like pimps or that they could use you and you can't see through. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna let you think whatever it is that makes you happy, buddy. But so yeah, the ex was nothing like that as far as that part. But towards the end, I guess he kind of was because he was trying to play a double game of ping pong and got caught up and was mad when he got caught up. Like, how dare you? But anyways, yeah. So be blessed, guys, and stop talking about gloves. Sam, that's weird. All right. Good night, boy. Like, share, and